Since everyone seemed to enjoy my first two lists of 4chan pranks so much, I decided to go back over the past month and dig up yet another 10 4chan pranks to discuss today for your enjoyment. For the past decade, fans of the Star Wars Battlefront series have been begging for a third installment to the franchise, which allows the player to fight others in a variety of locations from the Star Wars universe. Unfortunately, when their wish was finally granted, there was a catch. It was being made by EA. To put this into perspective how much the V-Board hates Electronic Arts, they actually colluded to have the gaming giant ranked as the worst company in America 2 years in a row, ahead of both Comcast and Bank of America. Because of this, one 4chaner bought the domain name EAStarWars.com, then proceeded to fill it with anti-EA propaganda, including a chart showing all the ways Battlefront 3 will be inferior to the previous one, along with all the companies Electronic Arts has ruined. Now all we could do is wait and see how the third installment actually turns out. Back in 2014, some 4chaners decided to do a prank that almost doubled as an experiment. They wanted to pose as extreme feminists on Twitter and start an anti-men hashtag to see if they could get others to actually go along with it thinking it's genuine. So on June 12th, many members of 4chan started creating fake feminist Twitter accounts while posting the hashtag EndFathers Day, claiming that men shouldn't have a holiday to themselves since they are all horrible scum and the world would be better off without them. While it started off as just a hoax, within days the hashtag was used over 60,000 times, with many real feminist Twitter users actually agreeing with its sentiment and encouraging others to get rid of the day that celebrates dads. While as usual everyone eventually realized it was a prank, those 4chaners proved their point, which was that you could get people to go along with some crazy ideas if they think it's legitimate. In my last 4chan prank video, I included how many were tricked into believing that iOS 7 was able to make their iPhone waterproof, with me adding that I hoped after all these bogus reports people would finally stop falling for them. Well, that was unfortunately not the case, because with the release of iOS 8, history repeated itself. Through these official-looking images announcing the alleged new feature, many on social media sites were led to believe that sticking their new iPhone in the microwave will quickly charge their phone. While of course most people could tell that this was a hoax, there's always a few that actually went through and placed their phone in the microwave. Now we just have to wait and see what new feature 4chan will release next. Tom Green is a Canadian comedian who became extremely popular in the late 90s and early 2000s for his television appearances and outlandish practical jokes. While his mainstream popularity has faded over the years, he has always kept a dedicated fanbase. With the rise of online video content, Tom decided to start his own internet talk show where he would interview guests, crack jokes, and have people call in, which is where 4chan comes into place.
It's amazing.
This is ridiculous.
Hello?
Hey, what's going on? You're on the air.
Hey, Tony Hawk, what's up?
Yo, what's up?
Hey, I want to ask you about a character on the new game you're going to make. I was wondering if you're going to put any mudkips on it.
Does this mean anything?
I don't know.
I don't even know what that means. Is he?
Probably not.
I don't know what that means. Okay. Hello, you're on the air. Does he say? I don't even know what that word means. So does he say something horrible there that I have to edit out at the end of the night?
I don't know.
No, it just makes no sense.
No.
Okay. Just makes no sense. There's a kid, yeah, it's a little thing about, it's a 4chan thing. It's kids on the internet, they have this group of kids and they like to say funny words like barrel roll or there's a video game move from Star Fox. Star Fox 20?
Star Fox 64.
Yeah, and they've been dogging me for a year, gotta tell you, driving me nuts actually. Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and I scream, 4chan!
Unlike most other shows that get pranked by live callers, Tom Green embraced the trolling and went along with it by not screening calls and giving over-the-top reactions to these people, which only makes sense for a guy whose claim to fame was goofing around. Kinder Chocolate is a European candy maker that creates products such as this bar, which is a chocolate-covered wafer filled with hazelnut cream, which looks really good and I kinda want one now. Anyway, back on topic, the Kazakhstan branch of the company had the unfortunate idea of letting parents submit pictures of their children to a poll, where the kid with the most votes would be placed on the side of the box. Even though the site wasn't in English, it didn't stop a poster on the infamous image board we all know too well to give detailed instructions on how to vote on their website for a young boy that everyone calls Victor. After a short period of time, Vic made it up to the #1 spot in the contest before Kinder reset the voting page. Then 4chan brought it back up to #1 before getting shut down again. Poor Victor never did get his picture on the candy bar box. It's no surprise that in our ever-growing world, pollution has become a big problem, with there being enough plastic thrown out each year to circle the Earth 4 times. With that being said, one 4chaner came up with an idea that he hoped would take advantage of people who wanted to save the environment. With this, the Plastic Bag Challenge was created. Users of 4chan were encouraged to go onto social media sites and post graphics discussing the amount of animals affected by pollution, then go on to say that for every minute a person has a plastic bag over their head, the World Wildlife Fund would donate $5 to cleanup efforts. While of course this was a hoax, it didn't stop the hashtag Plastic Bag Challenge from being spread on Twitter, but hopefully no one actually fell for it. It really is impressive how determined 4chan is to sabotage Time magazine contests, with this being the third instance I'm bringing up their website in these videos. While the B-board usually goes after polls where they can write whatever they want on the ballot, this one had predetermined choices to vote on, which in most cases stops anything offensive from winning. The poll was to vote on which word the public felt should be banned, and while most of the choices were just dumb text message slang terms, they also included the word feminist. Because of this, 4chan went to work voting up their pick on the list, with feminists winning by a landslide. Then after the results came in, Time magazine made an official apology about including it. When will they learn? Ebola-Chan is a cartoon character first published on the anime board depicting a girl representing the deadly Ebola virus. While originally just a distasteful joke between users of 4chan, this character quickly became the center of a massive hoax. After a while, users started to create a huge conspiracy that Ebola doctors in Africa were actually part of a cult worshipping the disease and trying to infect Africans with the virus. They then proceeded to go onto popular websites from African countries where Ebola broke out and spread their conspiracies. Of course, many news organizations were quick to pick up the story and share their opinions on how morbid the scheme was. But even with all the pressing controversy Ebola-Chan received, it seemed that at the end of the day the stunt made very little impact in Africa. 4chan has a long history of hating other websites for a variety of reasons, and while 9gag may be at the top of that list, Tumblr would probably come in a close second. One reason for this was back in 2014, a Tumblr blog named Shutdown4chan was created that accused the image board of being racist, misogynistic, and pure evil. With this, the blog encouraged people to raid 4chan on the 4th of July, and on that day many posts were found telling users to check their privilege when they were making statements deemed inappropriate from the raiders' perspective. In retaliation, 4chaners spammed popular Tumblr tags like feminism and fat acceptance with graphic and shocking images that would take over the site for a short period of time before things died down. The most ridiculous part of this story, though, is that many now believe that the original Shutdown 4chan blog was created by a 4chaner to stir up trouble, which seems ever so fitting. This one should need no introduction because of how infamous the event was, but here it is at the #1 spot, the celebrity picture leak of 2014. This story doesn't start on 4chan though, but rather on AnonIB a few days prior to the leak, where there was buzz about users getting a hold of naked pictures of the actress Jennifer Lawrence. While it's common to hear people running their mouth on these boards claiming they have access to things such as celebrity pics, a few days later these images were actually leaked on 4chan, along with over 100 other celebrities. With this, the internet, FBI, and news organizations scrambled to figure out as much information about these leaks as possible, with some places such as CNN not even knowing what 4chan is.
Do we even know who is this 4chan person or website?
He may, and I'm sure we're gonna be able to get some more confirmation on this as the hours and minutes go on. He may have been just a system administrator who knew his way around and how to hack things.
You know 4chan has pulled off something big when you have CNN trying to explain what it is. Whether or not they get their details correct is another story.
Well,
Well, there you have my picks for yet another top 10 4chan pranks. And if you enjoyed this video, you can click here to subscribe or click here to follow me on Twitter. I think this video really nice and well wraps up this little trilogy I have of 4chan pranks. I think this gives you a nice broad spectrum of what 4chan has done in the prank department over the past over 10 years now. It's crazy how long that website's been alive for. So anyway guys, until next time, thanks for watching.